So now you're at the transition point. What that looks like depends on whether it's local or whether it's a private agency in an out area. If it's local, they'll generally do what they consider a slow transition. What will happen is that once you've said yes, they'll start setting up a time for that kind of a face-to-face visit. You have to understand, no matter what way you've taken, at this point you've probably not seen or met the child other than maybe a picture. But now you'll finally be face-to-face, and what they'll often do is they'll set up a meeting, like you, and introduce you as like a friend of the foster family. They may meet at like a McDonald's or a park somewhere, and from there they'll start kind of adding on the time. You'll start having an hour, a few hours, a big step getting all day, then a big step so you finally do it overnight, and then next step from there would be they'll start doing the weekends. Once you've done 2 or 3 of those, they're going to probably start talking about saying, okay, let's talk placement. Let's talk about placing this child. And the process for them is going to generally be about 6 to 8 weeks in this transition. And understand during this transition, before they've done this, they may not have started talking. They may not have talked about adoptions at all to the child until that match has taken place. But now we're at the point the child should know, you're the adoptive family. But let's say though you're out of area, the child's like way in Panhandle, or you're down in Miami somewhere, or even out of state. Well, then you can't really do that smooth transition, can you? You have to do it a little bit differently. What they'll generally do is they'll expect you to go ahead and plan a week or 2 weeks of your time that you're going to spend there, and they'll try to do that whole transition is really intensely. So it looks very differently. So it's not the same smooth time of getting to know each other that you have when it's local. Same thing out of state. You'll be expected to fly out to that area and be there for a week or 2 weeks to get to know the child or the children. Be aware though, after that 2 weeks, it's not having that smooth transition. After that 2 weeks, they're probably going to be ready to roll. Meaning that when you get home, probably soon after, those kids will be coming on a plane right behind you, and not the social worker. They won't just be put on a plane by themselves, but then they'll do what they call placement. Now, up to this point, there really has not been a clock rolling, but now a clock does start to roll. But it's not a clock of things have to be done within a certain amount of time. It's actually kind of the opposite. It means the child has to be in your home for a certain amount of time before they'll be willing to do the finalization. Within the state of Florida, that tends to be about 90 days, meaning that they're going to place the child from the day of placement, and if everything is going smooth on day 91, you adopt that child. When they're looking out of state, generally they'll do this for about 6 months. Have a kind of a 6-month time frame. And again, this is not about making everybody suffer. This is about making sure everything's in place, make sure these children are doing well, make sure you're doing well, make sure that you are set up to roll forward with your life, and that everything's going well with the children. Now, when a lot of people hear that, they start to say, "Oh my God, 90 days or 6 months, that's forever." It's not. Trust me. The most frustrating period of time you're going to go through is right now. From right now until you're finally matched with a child. That's going to feel like forever because it's just so full of unknowns and waiting and frustration. But once a child's placed in your home, things move pretty fast from that point. You're going to be busy. But let's say that 90 days, that 6 months, everything's going great. The placement's working really well and you're ready to adopt. Getting close to the end of that 90 days, certainly the local agency, they'll normally start giving you kind of a list of names of the lawyers who they tend to work with, who's good for adoptions. With the private, that's handled in different ways. Sometimes the local still provide a list of names. Sometimes that lawyer fee is kind of wrapped up if you sign on to a program of theirs. That usually involves, the lawyers who are going to be involved in it as well. That's a question for you to have with your private agency, kind of how that's worked out. But let's say it's all done and you're ready to adopt day 91 or day 6 months and 1, and you're ready to finalize this thing. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, and I say this kind of jokingly, but it's still a little true to it. I tell families often, you know what, this is the day of adoption. You're likely to be a little bit disappointed. And people are amazed. What do you mean? How can I be disappointed? I've gone through all this time. Well, that's exactly it. If you're going through a local adoption, there is a good chance you're going to spend more time trying to find a parking spot and waiting for your name to be called than you'll actually spend before that lawyer. Before the judge. That's just incredible. Once you walk in there, it's incredible. Maybe 15, 20 minutes. The way this usually happens is that you'll be there, of course, and the child or children will be there, the social worker will be there, your lawyer will be there, the guardian ad litem will be there, of course the judge, and you may have your extended family there, people who's really close to the case involved. And the judge will, well, actually starts off, your lawyer will kind of open things up and kind of share what the petition is. Then the judge will ask the social worker question. Hopefully they'll say some sweet things about you, and the judge will ask the guardian ad litem. Hopefully they'll say some sweet things about you. The judge will ask you a couple of questions, and you'll say sweet things about your experience. The judge will then turn to the child and children, ask them, you know, kind of how things, but they're excited, and the child will say, I guess. I'm joking, but they have mixed feelings about all this. Children be a little bit ambivalent about it all at this point. But then the judge will say, by the power vested in me, bring the hammer down, and now you are the parent. What if the child's out of state, though? Sometimes this isn't written in stone, so every adoption is different. Sometimes the judge will want you to be there, especially you'll make this trip. Sometimes they'll do it by phone conference. The lawyer will be there, but they'll have you phone conferenced in. Every case is differently. Just talk to your agency about it, what that may look like, and they'll probably tell you the same thing I just told you, is that we won't know until the end, kind of how that looks. We'll be prepared for that. Anyway, this is kind of a rough summary. Every adoption is different. This kind of hopefully gives you an idea of what may be ahead. I talk about this stuff some more when you actually go through the training. If you go through my training, we'll talk about it in more detail. But hopefully this gets you started and answer some questions. Of course, you can always reach out to me if you do have some questions. My email's on the website, and I'd be glad to be of assistance to you. Wishing you the best in your adoptions journey. Thanks.